What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, playing Zombieland, a Creative 1.0 map by the Good Gamers team, and in today's YouTube video, we are actually going to be talking about the whole entire changes that have been happening with UEFN recently, and how there is a major feature that is missing from UEFN that Epic Games is actually kind of starting to think about and potentially making come back to the game for UEFN maps very, very soon. So what does this all relate to? Well, it all starts back to data persistence. What is data persistence? Well, in Creative 1.0 maps, we actually have had this for a long time. It's basically a system where, you know, I could play this map, for example, right? And why are you just kind of like... He's just hugging the little like pole or whatever. All right, but anyways, the whole data persistence thing is basically like I could play this map, for example, have it track in the top left how many kills I have. So if we actually move my webcam, you can see I have 102 kills right now, and then if I was to leave the game and come back to the map later, it would still have that track data of those amount of kills, right? So if I reached level 2, level 3, level 5, or whatever else on this map, I would still have all the data saved on here, so that, you know, I wouldn't have to grind out everything once again once I return to that map. Now, I'm not for sure if Zombieland actually has it. If you guys would like to try out the map yourself, it is 9369-6922-8408, but at the same time, it is something that in Creative 1.0 maps like this, they have access to, is the whole entire data persistence system, and it's something that I feel like UEFN could really benefit from, because if you think about it, there's some really cool tycoons on UEFN, right? You have like candy tycoon factories and stuff, where you can go ahead and upgrade like a normal Roblox game, a whole entire building, and, you know, get all these cool little upgrades and everything else. But one of the issues that, you know, make it so these UEFN maps, despite being so cool, don't really get played too much is the fact that data persistence doesn't exist. Meaning that if I play a candy tycoon, for example, I reach level 5 or something, I unlock half of the tycoon building, and then I leave and come back later, I'm going to have an issue where all that data from that tycoon is gone. I'm back at, you know, level 1 or floor 1, whatever else you want to call it for those type of tycoons, and that's just the issue with no data persistence being in UEFN. Now, all of this is leading up to the fact that recently Epic Games sent out a survey to certain content creators and everything else who are actually, you know, creating their own UEFN maps and everything else, talking about data persistence and UEFN. And they've brought up an interesting concern why they've kind of, you know, restricted releasing it as of yet, that could potentially, if voted on, be something that we get a lot sooner rather than later. That concern is related to people who are going to convert their 1.0 maps that already have data persistence to a UEFN map. Because, you know, there's a lot of 1.0 maps that already have the whole data persistence system, and they might not want to convert over to UEFN yet because of the fact that they don't want their players to lose their data. Well, in this survey that Epic Games sent out, they're like, hey, regarding the player persistence devices and everything else, would you guys be fine with it if we decided to make it so once it launches originally at first, it will not allow you to carry over 1.0 data? So once you convert the map to UEFN, every single update you do, it will have the data persistence ever since UEFN, but any data that was gained by players before the launch of UEFN will be gone, and it will be something that they actually can't take benefits of, right? So it's like if you have a pretty open world map with tons of exploration or something like that, you might actually be hindered by switching to UEFN right away, because a lot of people who played your map in 1.0 have their data completely reset. So that is kind of, you know, their 50-50 area where they're like, hey, would you guys be okay with this if we did go ahead and release it, right? Would you be okay if we went ahead and decided, oh, we're going to go ahead and release this, but your data got reset? And in my honest opinion, I gotta say that I really hope they go through with this change, even with this restriction at first, because, you know, it's like, while it is a bad thing if you think about it, right? It's a bad thing for 1.0 maps that are really in detail and people have spent countless hours upon hours getting their data up on, but the option of just having the ability to use your data in UEFN would be a godsend. Like, it would literally change some maps for the better and make it so that, you know, some of your experiences and everything else you play are just a lot more fun, because you'll have a lot more UEFN experiences that you feel like you can play without all of the data you played and everything being for nothing, because you'll be able to go back to that map in the future, you'll be able to complete challenges, whatever else. They could even do, like, you know, how Roblox games have like a whole entire pet simulator system where you can unlock pets and everything. They'd be able to do that in their own UEFN maps and everything with data persistence without you having to, you know, grind out a million challenges or whatever to get an exclusive pet or something, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's like, oh hey, you're unable to use that pet because you left the match, right? And I definitely feel like this is a change that is going to be be voted on in the same way that I'm thinking about it, where they're going to end up being like, you know what, yeah, we're going to go through with this, where UEFN data is going to be completely separate from 1.0. You know, we'll work on making it so you can transfer over 1.0 data to UEFN in the future, but right now we're just going to get the data persistence system out at launch, and I think that would be a major change to UEFN and would cause some chaotic changes in general, just the type of maps we play, like even only up maps, because even with the only up maps, whenever you complete them, you can get like contrails and stuff, right? But imagine once that data persistence gets added to the game, you won't just get contrails, you'll be able to carry over those contrails and everything else into new games and everything. You'll be able to have leaderboards of who completed the map the most times. You would have so many more options available to you that currently are just kind of impossible, except for, you know, single instance server leaderboards. So I really think that based on, you know, everything going on, we will be seeing data persistence in UEFN maps very soon, and I think that it's going to be this sort of change where it's like you won't even be able to transfer over that, you know, Creative 1.0 data until they get more, you know, fleshed out on the feature, and until they make it so more and more people are able to enjoy it and use it. And at that point, you know, it's like most of the maps will probably end up having two separate versions. It's like if you want to play your old data, there's the 1.0 map you can play, and then they can make like a new map code for like the UEFN version or whatever else. But I'd love to hear in the comments down below, what do you champs and champettes think about Epic Games potentially making it so that you're able to actually use your UEFN data once again, and being able to have data persistence going around everywhere? I think even in general for maps that weren't ever a 1.0 map or whatever, and only existed with the UEFN version, I feel like this is going to be a massive change that's just going to make a lot of UEFN maps something I want to grind out more, because you mean to tell me that I get XP for every minute I play of the map, but on top of that I can have data persistence going on? I just imagine, you know, like the recreations of Uno or Monopoly out there with like Squad and Dog and other creators, instead of just playing the recreation, they would actually be able to, you know, implement a whole entire like shop system or something where you can get different card backings or whatever for Uno, right? And that data would actually be able to be shared and saved because of the persistence situation. So there's just a lot of possibilities and a lot of things that could happen once these changes actually go into effect. And who knows, maybe this video right here is giving people ideas for what they can do with UEFN once data persistence gets added, and I'm excited to see what happens. So with that said, hope you champs and champettes enjoyed today's YouTube video. If you did, consider subscribing to support the content I create, and I'll catch you guys next time with another video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and peace out.